Hello. How are you? I'm in an undisclosed location today. I'm kidding. I'm in my bedroom. It's undisclosed to most anyway. So I'm here for a reason. And the reason that the video is untitled is I am not privy to the reason that I've come here tonight. But I've been prompted for the last couple hours to get on here and speak. About what? I guess we'll see. We'll wait and see if anyone is going to show up here. Hello, somebody's here. It's probably upstairs, apartment number 4, who's trying to sucker me into reality shows. It's Rachel. I was wrong. So much for my psychic ability, right? Okay, now your comment's gone and there's no one watching according to YouTube, but whatever. So apartment number 4 is trying to suck me into reality television while I'm upstairs visiting her. There's a show called what is it called? Love Without Borders. I think that's it. It's a reality show. And hello, Renee. Hello, Rachel. It's a reality show called Love Without Borders. And the only prerequisite is that you have to be single and you have to be willing to go anywhere in the world. So we'll see if she comes through. But she said she was going to sign me up, that she was going to sign me up for the show Love Without Borders. Basically, I'm going to take a vacation, but I'm really only interested in Europe or South America. So we'll see how that works. I don't think you can be picky and choosy, but yeah, Love Without Borders. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. So it sounded like a good idea for a vacation to me, right? So hello and welcome. I don't know exactly what's going on in this energy today, but I would say and as I said, the video is untitled because I've been prompted for the last couple hours to come here. And I'm sitting here with a blank notebook. So why I'm here, I don't know. Now that I am here, there has been, as you know, geoengineering or chemtrails going on since the time, I believe, the Korean War. They used it to cause mudslides because the area where they were fighting was really hilly. But it wasn't really until early 2000s that the chemtrails had been a real and imminent weekly, monthly sort of thing. As you guys know, these chemtrails seem to generate megastorms, which I'm sure you're aware of. I want to say this to all the people that tell me I look like an alien because I'm using filters. Go watch somebody else. Not only do I not have a filter on, I have nothing on my face but chapstick. So to you anti-alien people, go watch some other channel. Seriously. But these chemtrails have been a serious issue since the early 2000s. The pattern that I'm noticing in the last couple years with these extreme cold temperatures, like it was -8 here. And yes, that has happened in Ohio before in my lifetime, but it's very, very, very uncommon for it to be in the negatives in Ohio, especially not like taking into consideration the wind factor or anything else. So we had -8 here in December. I believe it was 2 days before Christmas. I believe it was December 23rd. It started December 22nd, and then we had a snowstorm. Now, as you guys knew, I don't watch the news or anything, but my son and a couple other people in my family had let me know that there is this big, apocalyptic snowstorm blowing in. And I, so what they were predicting was negative temperatures, rain, hours of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and a whole lot of snow, like 12 to 14 inches of snow, which is also not that common for Ohio. Um, when I heard that was going to happen, I said no. I just said no. We don't consent. I don't consent. We don't consent. And I speak for thousands and thousands of people upon this planet. I do. You can like that or not. I speak for thousands of people on this planet. And I said, we do not consent to any man made, manipulated weather. Now, that storm was nationwide. I mean, it was almost from one end of the United States to the other, covered when they originally showed it. Now, we did end up getting a really bad storm, and we had a lot of issues because of the temperatures. We had fire hydrants and people's pipes busting all over the place and stuff like that. I know I'm not speaking just for myself, but I speak for many as a whole on this planet that we do not consent to this. Since December, this will now be the third storm that pretty much reached across the United States from one way or the other. This particular storm now that they're talking about, that they're tracking, they're saying it goes all the way from Mexico to Ohio, basically. So there's a couple of strange things about this. One, the last time it snowed here a couple of days ago, I was outside at 6 a.m. with coffee, watching it snow in the light. And I held out the sleeve of my jacket because, as you know, every snowflake is different from the next, and every snowflake is different from the last. But they are all sacred geometry. So when you see snow that has no sacred geometry form, it is not a natural occurrence. It is man-made. So the last two snowstorms we've had in Ohio have been man-made. Now, again, since I'm not listening to the news, I'm relying on the information I get from other people as far as the storms. But the neighbor had told me, I think it was yesterday, that we were having another one of these storms tonight. It's supposed to start tonight at midnight in Ohio. And again, it goes all the way from, I think, New Mexico to Ohio. Now, when I first went outside this morning, I'd say 6:30, 6:45, the sky had so many chemtrails in it, you could see X marks everywhere. And this is the third time in a row, the last three snowstorms that we've had, um, where there have been chemtrails for hours and hours and hours. Now, it was, I think, 46 degrees here and sunny blue skies. And today, me and my neighbor ran around and did a bunch of errands and a little bit of joyriding and other stuff. And the blue sky was just, I mean, they just started Xing it out 6:30 this morning, 7 o'clock this morning, and they were still spraying chemtrails at about 6 o'clock this evening. Now it's dark, so I can't see if they're still doing it. It's like being in a irradiated rat box, literally. And not to be negative, I'm bringing this up for a couple reasons. Like I said, I wasn't even sure why I was coming here tonight. I just had been prompted throughout the day to go on here. So there is like a microwave energy that I can feel. I'm super sensitive to everything. drugs, alcohol, noise, people's vibration, everything. And I had been telling you guys, I think it was in the last video, that when it's cosmic energy or solar stuff that's coming in, it comes in through this ear, and depending how strong it is, how many times it kind of reverberates in my ear. Today I had made dinner. I was sitting at the table, and that same noise, that same it just came in a second flat, like a shriek. I dropped my spoon in my soup and just had to cover my ears. And as I was telling you in the last video, cosmic stuff, universal energies are in the right ear, and people speaking to me, no matter where they are or who they are, come through the left ear. So it was weird. So either for some reason, because there was no one, I didn't feel or hear anyone show up or deliver a message, telepathy after that. So I don't know what. Okay, so now that I'm here, there is some sort of reverse something going on. As I mentioned, cosmic stuff comes in the right ear. And I was thinking to myself today, why would they make it snow? Now, the sub-zero temperatures and things like that, there are a lot more reasons why they would do that. Not going to go into that. But just to make it snow, why would they do that? And I had no idea, because I've been thinking about this on and off today for quite a while. Why would they just make it snow to make it snow? It's not like they're trying to keep anybody in place or anything. But there's some sort of reversal going on, is the only way I can describe it. Now, something came through to me a few minutes ago while talking to you, and I'm trying to understand why, if cosmic energy, as long as I've heard it, you guys, it comes in the right ear, not the left. So why would they just want to make it snow? It feels like to me there is some sort of, I don't know if I want to say off planet, because I don't think it's off planet. I think it's coming from the atmosphere or ionosphere of this planet, because whether you know this or not, there are millions and millions of extraterrestrials living here. And I would say the majority of those whose ships we see, who are coming and going on radar, and going into the water and under the ice and into the mountains and all that stuff, those beings live here. So, there is a real and valiant fight of some sort going on. So the snow is almost like a retaliatory energy for the other energy that started first. So there's an energy that starts first, a really high frequency that I have been hearing in my ears, and it is not negative. It is not inorganic. It is some kind of frequency. It's almost like laughing gas, or I would describe it as a mild buzz. Like most people, balanced people, seem to be pretty bouncy and in a good mood today. So it's not a negative thing. But again, why would they just, mess with the weather, do all this microwave technology and all this? They spray metal and then they use microwaves on the metal. That's the way that it appears to me, with a lack of scientific knowledge, of course, and always. But there's something that's partially organic, partially naturally occurring. The change of the vibration right now but there are many beings who live in this planet, as I said, or under this planet or within this planet. Probably 60% of those down underneath the water. Um, it is, it looks like there is some sort of, I don't know how to say this, anti-blue beam technology. Um, they're putting out something to reverse something, which is then causing the other side to spray metal and microwave it. If any of you guys, and just like the last 3 or 4 weeks, have felt a real urge to take sleeping pills or drink alcohol or use any kind of substances, and that's not your normal behavior, or that's something that you gave up, that is why. Um, microwave technology, like your microwave oven. My aunt used to cook in it, I remember, and it just used to, the cookies would be, she made chocolate chip cookies in there one time, and the cookies were raw on the outside and then had these like little charcoal briquettes on the inside. Oh, your comments are back. Hi, Tina. Yes, so microwave technology, think about it. You put something in the microwave, it heats from the inside and then goes out. So when they are spraying metals and things that interact with our nervous system and then microwaving it to get whatever effect, and you'll have to excuse my lack of science, this is just the layman's terms for what I know they're doing. Also, there's a warning label on everything, right, that says never put metal in the microwave. That's because it sparks, right? So they're spraying chemtrails and they are sparking that metal. Now, they've been doing this for a really long time, but it seems within the last 4 to 5 weeks that every time the energy spikes, the vibration or the frequency of the planet raises in any kind of significant matter, they are then spraying and then zapping metal and all of sentient life in that microwave. And us, as a human being and all sentient life is experiencing this microwave. Again, it is retaliatory. So I'm not sure. So they used to have looking glass technology, which they don't have anymore. But some of these people are so indoctrinated in their dark, evil agenda that there are things, I believe, that they are not even aware of. They are aware that the frequency on the planet is changing. They are very much aware that the consciousness and the awakening on this planet is expanding. And that's part of the reason why they started using it so heavily in 2000, because in 2012, it really, really, really started amping up. So you may not see in the news that there's anything like you would have expected, or maybe that you've heard for a really long time is going to happen, but there is a higher frequency. There is an organic frequency, an organic vibration, solar vibration that's coming in, that they are then spraying heavy metals and nuking. And the reason for that is and like I said, I can't think of anything unless they're literally just ignorant. But they're also very desperate. So that could be part of it as well. Maybe it's a combination of ignorance and desperation. I'm not sure. But the thing is, the higher frequency always wins out over the lower frequency. And I had said to the neighbor today, apartment number 4, hello, I had never said anything about chemtrails, and I was like, they've been spraying this crap since like 7:30 this morning, 7 o'clock this morning, whatever. She's like, I know, I can see it, and I would never talk to anybody about it, and I never have, but I can clearly see it. So we're driving around hours later. I mean, they'd been spraying 6 or 7 hours by the time we went out to lunch today. And when we went out to lunch, the sky was kind of returning back to blue. So I'm curious how much of this storm we're actually going to get. I know that I am not the only one that doesn't consent to this, and I'm sure that I'm not the only one that is vocalizing the fact that they do not consent to being in a microwave oven. But I just want you to know how powerful we are. And I know that so many of us have known about chemtrails for a really long time. And last year they made an announcement that as of 2025, they're going to start weaponizing the weather and whatever, all that stuff. But that just goes back to the fact that they always have to tell us what they're doing retrospectively, right? Because they've been doing it since the 60s. And, the stronger the planetary vibration gets, the more people wake up, the more they do it. So while it seemed at one point it was more aimed at the human race or sentient life, it appears now to be aimed specifically at the organic higher vibration that's coming in, and we are maybe in a bystander to that or a side note to them. But it's like they're trying to microwave the other energy. That doesn't even, to me, that doesn't make sense. Maybe it makes sense to some of you guys. Maybe it makes sense to somebody out there. I am really seeing things. Um, but there is a higher frequency, and it's almost like they're trying to get rid of that higher frequency by putting it in a microwave. They think that within the atmosphere itself, but it's not just the atmosphere, it's the people too. So I don't know how much of this is ignorance or how much of this is just an absolute last ditch effort. To win a battle at all costs. I'm not sure. But the only way I can say it to you is that they are just trying to nuke the higher frequency, thinking that with metal and microwave technology that they can kill this. Now, I'm sure if it was, this is going to be out there because you guys know how uneducated I am, but this is what it feels like and what it seems like to me. If they were to do a study and they had a room or a microwave and they were to take that higher frequency into that microwave, into that closed condition, into a closed space, that might be something that would work, but that is not going to work. And like I said, these chemtrails, they spray a line and then it just keeps melting and melting and melting until we have no blue sky left. And we almost had no blue sky when we left here at 10:30, and by 2 o'clock it was back to blue sky with just a couple of dissipated chemtrails in it. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on with this storm, because the storm is supposed to start in I think like 3 hours and go from midnight tonight until 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. But I know that when it comes to certain things, we feel like we have more leeway or we have more, there's more we can do about certain things than other things. And I know for me, chemtrails, I've known about this since 2005, so it's a really long time. And when they do it to that point, it's not really anything one individual will do, because if in case you don't know this, the way they figured out laser technology was by studying the human eye. If there's a cloud in front of you, you can take your eye and go from one side of the cloud to the other, up and down, side to side, keep doing it. You can cut that cloud in half with your eyes and make it dissipate. Now, I found this out in, I want to say about to 19, maybe 99, 2000. And me and my son, I think he was 8 at the time, tried it and it worked. So they discovered the human discovered the laser by studying the human eye. But when it gets to the point of the whole sky being inundated, that's not something the human eye, unless a lot of us were outside could take care of with our human laser eye. I want to share that interesting fact in case you didn't know where the laser came from studying the eye. That's absolutely amazing to me. My point is, some of these very much larger than life quote projects that they're doing, experimenting on this planet that we don't consent to, can seem overwhelming or daunting to do anything about as a small percentage of people. But there is something that we can do about it. And I don't know how many people know that these last couple storms were weather manipulation and inorganic, but it had to be more than just me. I don't think that my words about not consenting to inorganic, man-made, manipulated weather, and it took all three of those. Well, we're about to find out, but I know what I did today is also going to lessen this storm, just like it lessened the last two. So maybe in this situation for me, as far as like manipulated weather, it can be easier to feel like you don't have any say in it or there isn't anything that you can do about it. But you can, because our soul group that is on the first wave of not of knowledge, we'll say it that way, um, does have the right absolutely to speak for the whole. And I don't do it any kind of, crazy fancy way or anything. I just always say, I speak for thousands and thousands of people when I say we do not consent to man-made, manipulated weather. If this rain, if this snow, if this storm is Mother Nature, let it be. If the storm is made by man for any maleficent reason, take it down a notch. Stop this from happening. And I ask for backup. And I'm telling you this because any one of us at any time can just walk outside any day, whether they're doing it that day or not. We have to speak up. And me going outside and even whispering to the trees or shouting to the trees that I don't consent to man-made, manipulated, polluted weather of this planet. And today I just said I don't consent. We, and I speak for thousands, do not consent to inorganic, man-made weather and pollution on this planet or in this universe. So we're supposed to get 6 to 12 inches of snow. I'll let you know in the next video what happened. But I just want you to know that we do have every right. And no, it's not, going somewhere and creating an act or picketing or creating a disturbance or whatever. And even when we do those kind of things, when we rally together, it's good for support, it's good for group unification of consciousness. But this really seems to work. And I know there are not a whole lot of people watching, but I really ask that if you feel the way I do about this manipulated weather, like I said, whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, whatever, it's simple. If this bothers you the way it bothers me, them messing with sentient life and trying to nuke everything on this planet, then step outside and just say, I speak for thousands. We don't consent to inorganic, man-made, manipulated weather. I can see your comments for just a second. And when I look down and say that, as always, they disappear. We are very powerful. Okay. It's not bad news, because if we weren't so powerful and this energy coming in to assist us from source, then they wouldn't be spraying metal and microwaving us to begin with. I've said this in several videos, but we are the most advanced technology on this planet. And getting mad about pollution or chemtrails doesn't do any good, you know? Um, and I know um, it's not picketing, it's not creating havoc, it's not petitioning, but I'm telling you, energetically, we just say that we don't consent to this. Um, it makes a huge difference every time I do it. Every time I'm called to do it, it makes a huge difference in these storms. And I know if even, you know, a couple hundred of you or whoever feels called to, anybody that knew what was going on would not to consent to it. And that is the reason why I always say, when I say I don't consent to it, that I speak for thousands, because if people knew what was going on, they wouldn't consent to it. And I do feel like I can speak for thousands of people. I, it's not a right. I don't know what you call. I just feel like I can speak for thousands of people, and it's important. I don't know what they're doing right now because everything feels entirely reversed. So what I heard in my left ear earlier was cosmic energy, but why it's coming in the left ear when it has always come in my right ear, I can only think that has something to do with what's going on. So the positive, high frequency, organic alteration that was coming through as a cosmic energy was the reason for the metal and the microwave technology being used. And you probably, and you guys know, I think, I don't keep up with the Schumann or any of that stuff anymore. I don't feel a need to do it. But I bet if you looked at it, these storms would all start after a really high frequency. And they're altering that information and hijacking it and changing it and doing that stuff. So I'm not sure. Maybe some of you that follow it know whether you could actually track that and look at that and see that. But I want you to know how completely and totally powerful you are. Um, this planet, like all planets, is a sacred universe. It's a sacred biosphere for all of sentient life. And millions of us don't consent to it, but millions of us just don't know. And I will go outside and say I speak for thousands as many times as I feel like I need to say that I speak for thousands. Because if thousands and millions knew, they would be doing it too. We're just not at that level of awareness on this planet. So, but this is our planet. This planet belongs to those who don't want to destroy it, who don't want to ruin it for the rest of all life forms on this planet. And the meek shall inherit the earth, right? Meaning those who love the earth shall cherish the earth, shall take care of it. And we have more of an energetic say in this than they do. They may have bigger guns and, bigger toys and, blue beam and harp and all of those other things, but they don't care about the planet. So my energy and speaking my truth about what I consent to or what I don't consent to is stronger than what they have, especially if other people will join me. So I ask you to join me, and I had no idea why I was coming here tonight. So it's like it's kind of like a laser tag. It's like a laser tag or something is going on. This high frequency, this beautiful high vibe energy comes in. They're trying to microwave it out. Okay, the snowstorm or the rain or the mudslides, all of these other things that are happening because of this is a byproduct. It's not that they're trying to per se cause a mudslide or cause rain or cause snow. It is a byproduct of what they're doing. I can see that very clearly now. I feel so strongly in my heart about taking our personal power back and what we stand up for and protecting each other, all sentient life. and this planet. So I hope you will consider saying what you don't consent to. And that's anything that you don't consent to that you see um, going on. Just speak. I don't consent to whatever it is. We have an incredible amount of power within us. We are the most advanced technology on Earth. If we weren't, they wouldn't be microwaving us. I know that doesn't sound like good news. Karma is coming back to them, and when we stand up for ourselves and we pull ourselves into our own power and say what we do not consent to, we change things. This world is changing really fast. And I'm going to get off here in a second. I did not know why I was coming on here. I had no idea. You see, I'm without notebook or without pen. But just to let you know about the namesake and how things can be, how karma is wrapping itself up for us individually. Now, if you're not creating anymore, then you're finishing off the last of your karma, or you've already finished off the last of your karma if you're not creating anymore. But as a somewhat humorous side note, Credit Karma, who is the company that says you can get your credit score for free once a year or however often they allow you to do it. I do not do that kind of stuff, but Credit Karma, very synchronistic here. Credit Karma was when they were allowing you, or I should say inviting you to do your free credit check. They were then saying, oh, you're 90% pre-approved for ABC, right? And then people were clicking on that. So this has been going on for a really long time, but it got handed over to the court in September of last year. So this is a really quick turnaround for something like this. So I'm saying this as a third dimensional mile marker about energy and about karma. So Credit Karma, I looked up what their net worth was today, and it's $500 million. However, that is from 2017, and no matter what I typed in, it would not give me anything beyond 2017, so it could be triple that now. I don't know, but 500 million, it was the net worth of Credit Karma in 2017. And yesterday, they got a $300 million fine for what they were doing. So what they were doing was basically doing the free part of what they were offering, and then they would just say, okay, you're pre-approved, quote, pre-approved for ABC, and then they would ask for people's personal information. So they were getting people's personal information, and I think using that, but also they said 1/3 of the people that were supposedly pre-approved were never approved. So they got in trouble by the FDC for false advertisement, and also I guess I forget what they call that, but they were basically mining for people's personal information by telling them they were pre-approved for something, and then they did all these things, right, for their pre-approval, and not only did they not get what they said they were pre-approved from, but it also drastically lowered these people's credit scores, even though they advertised that using Credit Karma will not. So $300 million fine. I believe that came across the news yesterday morning, or that decision was made yesterday, just from September. This, my friends, is a 3D representation of a couple of different things. One, look at the name, Credit Karma. Okay. And think about, what I just said they were doing, and they got their karma. And as far as I know, this really just went in to the court system in September. I mean, could that really only be 4 months? They made a decision in 4 months, because when it comes to big corporations, a 4 month decision is absolutely unheard of. And it did say September, and it did not say a year. So, unless it was September of last year, that's 4 or 5 months it took them to rule. And it was a unanimous 4-0 vote with the $300 million fine. Things are happening. Karmically, things are happening. And I can't think of a business that better pointed out the fact that credit is karma, right? I mean, we have credit with our karma. It's good, positive or negative. Nobody ever talks about positive karma, doing things. So people are very, very different. But some people will work for a company, and they will maybe work one way if their supervisor Tina is there, and they may work another way if their manager is there, and they may work another way if the CEO is standing over them, right? But there are people on this planet that will work the same way for anything, for their job, for their marriage, for whatever it is that's beautiful in life they want. They will work the same way, whether they're standing alone or next to a CEO or in a room of 100 people. And that's what we're doing right now. We are, whether we're social networking, doing social media and writing articles, making videos, whether I'm outside in the yard working up close, with gardening, animals, whatever. When I'm gardening like the CEO of Mother Nature was there. You know what I mean? My vibe, the way I act when I'm working or speaking or cooking or whatever, it's the same no matter whether I'm by myself or the CEO is standing over my shoulder. And when it comes to karmic retribution, or when it comes to just what is coming back to us energetically, it's what we put out, right? So if we always are loving to this planet and to all sentient life, even if we're standing on a bridge completely by ourselves with no one else to see it, that's what we're doing. Because sometimes people like to take videos. This is what I do. This is my life. And then the camera goes off, and that's not the life. But so many of you guys are doing it completely by yourself. You're just doing it. You're just reaching out. You're just assisting humanity. You're just assisting this planetary energy. You're assisting everyone completely by yourself, but you're doing it like the CEO or the source of this universe was standing right there watching you, because you know how important it is, and because you're just good all the way down to the center of you. You're good. If you don't consent to it, no matter what it is, just speak it out loud and say what it is you don't consent to. It does more than picketing, because physical presence or physical energy, I mean, I'm not saying there's anything negative or wrong with it, but our energy is putting our light energy, just speaking it, right? And first there was the word. I don't know why biblical things keep popping into my head. It's not like I'm a biblical scholar or anything. Um, but at first there was the word. Everything is created by our words. We can consent to things and not consent to things. I'm asking you to consider speaking those things out loud that you consent or do not consent to. Because, and I don't do it because of karma. I do it because it's really who I am at the core, and it's really who we are as a people on this planet. The majority of us are just brilliant to the core. We want peace and harmony and joy and freedom, and we want to be surrounded by beautiful, healthy, sentient human beings, animals, plants, all of it. We're just good, and we're constantly working like someone was watching. Always, always working like someone is watching. Thank you for doing that work. It's radically important. And energy really does move mountains more than picketing, um, more than so many other physical ways that we could show up. Using our words to create reality, not only using our words to create reality, but to disengage from a reality that we don't consent to. That is our right. That is our privilege. This earth belongs to the people who care about it, not the people who don't. And no matter how high the energy is that comes in, no matter what they spray or how they try to nuke everything, it's not going to work. They're just running out of money. I love you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for working hard, always, like there's a group of hundreds behind you watching, even though you're doing it like me, completely alone. No one sees it. You guys only see what I am or how I am on camera. You don't know how I am in person. I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. Thank you for working for this planet and sentient life. It is our planet, and we have it back, and they know it, and hence all the retaliatory energy and BS that's going on now. Take care of yourself. It's not easy, and not to be negative, but think about how you would feel inside a microwave oven with metal. That means taking extra care of yourself. And I'm telling you right now, just like metal can spark in a microwave, you need to be really taking care of yourself. Okay. And I know, like I said, this energy going back and forth between the high frequency is not what makes you want to drink or do drugs or take sleeping pills or whatever your thing is. Because if you think about metal popping in a microwave, all that popping is kind of like you in your center having anxiety, and that's what it's doing to us. Okay. So alcohol and other things may feel like a temporary release, but it's really not. And it's really not the greatest idea. And I'm not telling you to not ever drink or whatever, take a sleeping pill or anything. I'm just saying, if you feel that urge to try to take the edge off of your anxiety right now, it's because they are trying to zap the good energy that's coming in to shift the planet, all sentient life, and our consciousness. So take care of yourself. Make sure you're drinking water. And sometimes when this goes on, you will feel the need to eat heavier food, carbohydrates or something. Just take care of yourself and do what you need to do for you. And thank you for being the shepherds for this planet and this universe. It doesn't go unnoticed by me. And if I can notice you from thousands and thousands of miles away, you are being noticed on a global level. And it may not be by your neighbors, and it may not be by your family, right? But it is being noticed. We are being protected, and there is a huge force of beings helping with this back and forth between positive frequency and microwave energy. It goes back and forth, and that totally explains why it literally went around the head and came in an ear that's different than it normally does. They're just going back and forth with it, with each other. We do not consent, and I speak for thousands, to the pollution or harm of this planet. Thank you for doing this work. I love you. Bye.